Hello, this is Aaron with Yesterday's Games, and today we're going to be jumping back into OpenTTD and continuing our last little playthrough, so go ahead and load this up. And if you haven't seen the first one, we go and we set up the couple of power plant and coal mines that you see going on here. And today we're going to be talking about passenger service and kind of growing these cities that you see around the map. But before we talk about that, I need to make a few little changes from the last episode. If you watched it, I'd had this station set up for both the power plants and made a little bit of an error. So we need to have these one-way path signals at both ends so the train knows that it can go in there. Otherwise, you'll see these trains will start to just kind of circle right through. So if we press A and S, that'll bring up our signals, auto rails signals, and then we want to switch to our semaphore style and unpause, and we're going to build those there. And you see this guy's going through. Not entirely sure why he was going all the way through like that, but we don't really want that. We want these guys to come in and unload. But it's going to take them a second to kind of get through and realize that we've got the better pathing and stuff here. So what we'll do is we'll jump over and we'll do that same to this one as well. So there we go on the one on the right there. Oh, I've got this station all messed up. There we go. So that way trains will come in, they pass the signal on the right, they'll go through. Train 7 is lost. Sort out our trains a little bit. Let's go ahead and center him on the map. There we go. So he'll be much happier now. He'll be able to come in here and drop stuff. Now this is actually quite timely. So I wanted to talk a little about distance. So look at here. So he is going to drop off. That was a full load, $6,200. That's really not that much for getting a full load of cargo. So let's watch as this guy comes in. This train 5. He's coming from over here, Gondingstone Mines. Go ahead and get rid of all these windows popping up. So many windows. So he's pulling in there. Let's take a look at how much he makes, because same length train. It should be just fine. 12,000. Now that kind of brings us to an interesting point. Is the game pays more for cargo that's been delivered over a longer distance. So in theory, we don't really want him to be delivering right here. We want him to be going all the way up here. Now it's going to need several more trains because we want to keep the kind of frequency up. But we'll jump into that in just a little bit. But for now, I wanted to fix those stations because those were well, we don't want the stations actually to work correctly. And we're going to go ahead, I think, as well, and put in a depot up here, so the trains don't have to go all the way through the station in order to get service. And there we go. So, but again, today we are going to be focusing on passengers. And we've got several nice looking cities over here, and they're kind of close together, which can be a little cramped. But let's focus on this Gondingstone and Drottninghamn. They're fairly big cities. Actually, if we click on both of them, they do have the city, kind of name on there. If we click on one of these smaller ones, like Mundtown here, it is not a city. Now that will actually mean that these, when they're kind of classified as cities, will grow a lot faster. Passengers are a little more fickle than coal. They don't want to be left waiting at the station, and they typically have a destination, because remember in the first episode we set our passenger cargo to be symmetric, which means that everybody actually has a destination, not just, I need to be dropped off at, for these coal mines, coal needs to be dropped off at some power plant. It doesn't care which power plant. Passengers, if they're going from Goddingstone to Drotinghatton, and we just drop them off in Gemwood, they are not going to be real thrilled about that. So they will all have a destination. And as we get these set up, a quick note, mail, kind of peas and carrots, are passengers and mail. So when we make our passenger trains, we're going to be putting mail cars on there as well. So let's get started at building these guys out. So these will grow to be generally really good sized cities. So ideally we want to try and get this nestled in there as best we can. Now I'm going to stick it here, which should give us a pretty good, again, we've got this kind of catchment areas, that gray part. I'll move him out the way a little. And we're going to do that now. We like that right there. So, and we'll switch back over to the auto tool now. I'm going to go ahead and drag this across. Now this is nice. It allows the local traffic to still be able to travel over the train tracks. An important note here is roads cannot be built on diagonals, so we don't want to block the town off from being able to kind of build out this direction. Quick one, if you have trees and you need to do stuff, if you press X, that'll toggle the transparency, which will allow you to kind of see what you're doing a little bit better. And essentially this is going to be a very similar station to what we have going on over here, actually down here at the coal plant. So as you see, trains can come in or come in this way, either way. But what I want to do, as I'm making tracks all over the place, is give this a decent amount of space, because if we ever need more trains coming through here, and we'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. There was a couple of police cars driving by, and the sirens are pretty loud in this area. So we're getting back to it. We've got kind of our in track and our out track. We're gonna bring this guy over on the diagonal. Here we go, and then boom, boom, boom. We've got our two tracks coming out here. Now I'm gonna, for now, make a different track than our other stations here, and we'll eventually tee these together if we need to. But for now, like I said, I just want to connect these two cities, and we can do that in a kind of a fairly straightforward manner. Just kind of bringing them over like this, and that's just fine. So we'll go ahead and hook up this one as well. I'm going to do kind of the same size station now. 1400. He's got a pretty good head start on Drotinghatton, but now ideally, I typically like to have a little space for to make those kind of roundabout style stations, because that is going to be able to handle quite a bit higher train traffic than than otherwise, because we want we don't want to have to have a station that we go, well, after we get a certain amount of traffic, it's kind of useless after that point, and we really don't want that. So let's go ahead and bring him over. Here we go. So this is going to be our in and our out. So here, there we go. Again, fairly straightforward. We're not doing anything terribly exotic. On the right. Final one, and that's that click and drag again, and that click and drag, and that is gonna do all of our stuff all the way here. I'm kind of zipping through this because we really would like to start making some money with these passenger lines, but let's go ahead and can't forget the ever useful depots, which we'll toggle that back off, and here we go. There we go. Not a bad little start. And let's go ahead and get our trains designed up here. So new vehicle. This is short, not that far of a thing, but let's take a look at pretty good horsepower, decent reliability on these guys. That one's pretty good, but yeah, and 112, that's kind of a nice little speed, and saving us pretty good amount of money, 46,000 versus one of 32. So we're gonna go with the Cheney Jubilee. We'll go ahead and buy that guy up. And what I always like, kind of for aesthetic purposes, to kind of have the mail cars kind of butted up right against the train there, and then add in our passenger cars after that. Now later on, we'll see, these steam trains are just the engine, and when we get diesel trains, some of those are kind of purpose built for taking people. Like you can actually have people in the engine itself because it's kind of that style. But for now, this is a great start. So let's go ahead and get him going. Now there's kind of two schools of thought for doing this. Now we can either do a tricky thing where we tell this train, stop and get a full load at these stations to kind of prime them, because again, nobody's going to be showing up at this station until they see that trains are actually going through there, because they just don't know that a line runs through there yet. And once we get these going through, this will start cranking pretty good. But for the easiest way, and we have plenty of money, I'm just going to go ahead and control click to clone this train with shared orders. And look at that, 52,000. So once he rolls in and stops here, I'm going to let this guy go, because that should allow us to kind of have a nice spacing on these trains. See, everybody's surprised. Now over here, boom, we've already got passengers lined up. We'll go ahead and send that other train off. But this is, see, passengers and mails. Now if we look over here real quick, if you click this plus, you see 22 passengers from the station, and they're going, well, anywhere. They just want to go somewhere. It's probably because there's only one line here. It's only between these two cities. It's nothing real exotic. So let's take a quick peek as well. You'll see, but at Goningstone, even though this has got passengers that are ready to go to here, there's nobody here yet because we have not got any trains to stop in there yet. And for now, I'm totally fine with sending these through and saying, hey, I want to keep our frequency up, and I want to be able to see, look at that, boom, we picked up everybody. Goningstone is now picking up people. So these trains will cruise back and forth and start to kind of make money. Now, not quite as reliable money as the coal trains, but this will eventually get to be quite good. So all of this passenger and mail transport is nice, but does this actually do anything? And it does. If we look at our cities, we'll be able to see down here, town is not growing. So eventually when we start to deliver enough passengers and deliver enough mail, the town will slowly start to grow. And we can speed this up by delivering other cargoes, but that's going to be kind of another episode. For now, we're just going to focus on getting your passenger line set up and kind of what that looks like. You can always come in here, and if you click here, you can kind of see how many passengers. And these pretty empty trains, but it's a start, There we go. Boom. These have both kicked over, now saying the town will grow every 100 days. And if we come in and watch it, when they do grow, little houses will pop up here. The roads will expand. And I'll have to have another episode where we're talking about how you can really kind of accelerate the growth by growing the roads out and putting them in ways that you want to grow them. But for now, again, we're keeping it simple. Right now might actually be a good opportunity to look at this right here, local authority. They're not real happy with us, so apparently Drottninghattan is none too thrilled with us. We've got really good ratings at the station, so that's nice. They just seem to be not happy about all our construction. As the line continues, this should get better. See, look at that. boom, they're starting their a few new houses there. Let's go ahead and look at Goningstone. Poor. So they're starting to like us a little more as we deliver goods, deliver passengers now. If you have a good station reputation, you haven't been bulldozing towns for no reason, you should generally be okay. Sometimes if you really need to build in this area, or they're close to, you know, say like a power plant that you need or something, and they're in the atrocious level, you can't build anything. They'll just straight up say, no, you can't build anything here. It'll say they refuse to allow your building. Now, there is a way to there's a way to get around that, and that is through parks and recreation. Planting trees. You can go around and plant trees around the city, and we don't have a ton of money because this can get kind of pricey, but that is kind of one way to go, hey, if I have to get through this city, you can go ahead and do that, and that will raise that enough to where you can come in and build. It's expensive though, so I would not try that really early on, but we've got a nice, you know, this is nice, this is decent, kind of going between these two cities, but we want more. Let's go ahead and get a third one. So let's maybe, oh, perfect. So also road vehicles. Oh, so many. They are. This is the year for road vehicles, it seems. Also, we can start to repay some money because we've got, well, we've got plenty of money now. So we'll go ahead and repay. You can see our loan right here. We'll leave that there because we want to still be making a bit of money. While we're here, let's go ahead and see if we can optimize some of these trains a little bit. Train 7. Let's go ahead and instead of having you go to south, let's have you unload this one and go ahead and delete that. So this way, he's going to be making quite a bit more money. What I will do though is kind of preemptively clone that train and go ahead and send him off. Hopefully he's going straight to the mines. Yeah, perfect. So remember, if he made it, was it 6,200 earlier. So let's take a look. We'll hit tab to speed up the game a little bit. And there he is off. We'll go ahead and focus on this train and watch as he cruises all the way up here. Now, it's gonna be quite the journey, so we'll have to see if this other train fills up before he gets back. Pressing tab again to kind of speed things up, you know, scoot him along. But like we said, he was making, I think, 6,200 last time. But let's see how much we can get out of him. This is looking all right. 50% there. Okay, getting a little service there. All right, 16,000. That's fantastic. So if we think about that, that's a huge amount of money. This one here making 208. If we switch him down to Hutfield South, he's gonna be making excellent money. Although we'll probably have to add a third train to this thing. So remember, we've got these guys are sharing orders. So instead of power plant station, if we tell him go down to here, and there we go. So I wonder if he's gonna, yeah. So let's go ahead and skip that. There we go. Perfect. Getting some service there. And then he's heading for Hutfield South. That's where it's our southmost power plant there. And again, I'm going to kind of preemptively clone these trains because I just know we're going to run into issues. We might as well let him go straight away. With that thing being so far away, with the amount of money that amount of coal that this is generating is going to be really, really high. So here's this guy. And how's this at? This guy, oh, it's still doing fine. Kind of a lower amount of coal delivered from there, so we can kind of get away with that. Oh, I want to see just the huge amount of money we make off this train. Yeah, 27,000. That's halfway through paying for one of those passenger trains right there. And that's what I'm talking about. We're making money hand over fist this way. So he's there. We've got a couple of trains. Oh, trains are breaking down in the middle here. Not ideal. So train 1, I might actually consider Cheney. So these guys I might consider doing a retrofit on, because they're going quite far. When we get a little more money, we'll work on replacing those trains. But I think that looks like it's pretty well set for now. There's that empty train coming back. He shouldn't be too full by the time he gets there. Oh, perfect. Come in here. And, oh, where are you going? Oh, he must be getting a service. Let's get a nice little station over here. So if they come in and need service, they can go in and get service without having to kind of do a weird loop like that. There we go. That should do. 27,000. Perfect. Okay. So back to our passenger lines. Ratings are still good. These guys hate us any less? Not so much. Thankfully, we've already got the station in, so they can't do much now. Gonding Stone, local authority, mediocre, better. We're working our way up there. So let's take a look at adding another city. How about Gewwood? I like it. It's also got a factory, a steel mill over here. They look real close to factories, so a steel mill. But let's go ahead and drop in a passenger station. Wow, we could make this a kind of a double duty station here with the steel mill here, or we just put the station on the other side of town. I think we're gonna have to go this direction though. Or we'll see what we'll do is I typically don't like to make terminus stations because kind of you're limited on the amount of traffic you can have kind of coming in and out of them, because you know the other ones, they come in, pull out, and then you're good to go. But let's go ahead and make one here. Can't build. Oh, we got to demolish that thing there, that park's there. So there we go. Press X to get this in here. So now we're gonna have to do a little bit of fancy stuff here, right? Because this isn't the same kind of style. So once we get up here, what we want to do is be able to allow the trains to come in and come in and out to go, once they come in, they can pop out to any station they want. Now, I suppose we could just remove this to kind of say, we've got trains coming in, trains are going to be going out this direction. We may find it necessary to have kind of multiple ins and outs later on, but for now that's okay. I think maybe we'll branch off here and come over. So this will be our inline. That's our outline. Make this line up. And bingo, or at least just about. So we'll want to be able to turn right. And we'll want to do S and R. We want to be able to turn in there, and we'll remove these just for a minute. So we want to be able to. That was our in and out. So we're going to put the signal so I don't get confused here. There we go. So this is coming out. We're also going to want to be able to connect up that way. And we want to be able to connect up that way. There we go. Bingo. Nice looking. It's all right. So here we go. Again, let's have maybe a depot on kind of either side of this. And there we go. That's looking all right. So this is where we're going to start to get a pretty good amount of traffic. But you know, let's we'll see how it does. G-Wood here. Let's go ahead and give you again that kind of middling car. 2, and then we're going to pull that out to 4 car sizes there. We're going to have go here, and we're going to go to Drottninghaven because they're real unhappy about they're not real happy with me. So I would like to make them a little happier. So let's have we'll get another bit of service there. We'll take a look at this. Goods, mail, iron ore. While we're here, let's make sure that we have, now again, we're going to do path signals rather than one-way path signals. And by putting this on the right there, trains can go in, totally fine. And then if another train is pulling in, they're going to have to wait for that train to kind of figure out where they're going first, which generally that's what we want. We want that to happen. So we're going to do that just because the auto tool sometimes does not place these quite as perfectly as we'd like. Now, always when you're switching between these, make sure that you're not putting your path signals where you want your one-way path signals, because that could be a bit of a disaster where you've got trains kind of opposing those signals, and it's all a mess. So he's 48% done, so we can come in here. I'm going to toggle that off. Now that's kind of my sample of preloading that station a little bit. G-Wood here, 1600, so that's going to give us a pretty good amount of that's a really good amount of people. I wonder, did they hate us too? Good. I don't know what I did at Drottninghaven. Maybe it's because I had this power plant over here for so long, and they really thought I should have started a passenger line much sooner. So we're going to control click to duplicate that train to Drottninghaven. Again, we want to have like a nice amount of frequency, because that really helps our station ratings, and helps the local authorities not to hate our guts. So I wonder, very poor. We have improved in the eyes of the local authority of Drottninghaven. We have become less hated, which is always nice. So there we go. Now I hope you better have, yeah, he's got people. Perfect. So there we go. So G-Wood is doing great. Now we can see 31 via Drottninghaven, and we can actually see this is where they're going. We can actually see that they want to go from G-Wood to Drottninghaven, because they're going to pick up another one of the lines that goes to Gonningstone. Now, if we also, create a direct line there, that will further, and it'll further increase the amount of traffic we have on these tracks. But that will probably give us a better kind of a better direction. Like, somebody's like, look, I don't want to have to take everybody hates doing train transfers, so it'd be nice if we could get them kind of going directly there. Actually, this is good. You can see there's transfer income coming in there, and that's really what we can see. That's where we know passengers are coming in. He just kind of cruised on through Drottninghaven, Gonningstone. Oh, and here we go. So occasionally these will pop up. We've designed a new rail locomotive. Would you be interested in using it for a year? Yeah, of course. If you say no, you just don't get to use it, and they release it next, kind of in the following year. So you might as well click yes. You're under no obligation to buy them. That one I believe is quite fast, so that's nice. But each his own if you're interested in that sort of thing. Trottingham, not a huge amount. G Wood is doing great. Like I'm getting all kinds of people here. It is a shame that I wasn't. I could put kind of a line that comes and kind of loops around here or something, but that's all right. So as we start to make money, as we start to kind of make sure our passengers are getting transported all where they need to. Ratings here, good ratings. So lots of passengers. I like this town. It's a bigger town, so I think that's nice. But you'll see, we're kind of always constantly, generating a little bit of mail, that type of thing, and that's pretty good. So as we kind of make more money, the other one is we can come up and pull up a list of trains, and we can see profit. Now, if the year has just kicked over March, that's totally fine. These trains are making a huge amount of money. But the big one is we can see our passenger trains profit this year is kind of what we want to pay attention to. Now this train, train 7, 44,000. He just has not made. Basically, he hasn't made a run yet. He may have just been filling up before he kind of came back here. And it's probably a good time for us to check our stations. That one seems clear. Clear. So ideally, if we don't see any coal sitting at the stations, we know, hey, we're doing quite well. What happened right here is that train broke down, pulling into the depot to get a service. So what a shame. Should have gone in earlier. And we can actually set maintenance schedules on the trains too, but it's for now it's running just fine. Train 11. Oh, train 11 getting a service. Oh, fair enough. He just kind of looped through there. That's all right. Oh, these trains. I don't know who designed these trains, but hey, that's all right. Trottingham. Oh, we've got a bunch of passengers here now. Our ratings must be improving enough that it's not quite as egregious. So looking around, Parting Hall might be our next step. God, the names in this game, Drafingbourne Bridge, and you kind of even further up here. Now this is a little far away for steam trains. You see my trains hardly are making it around here without breaking down. And essentially, compared to a lot of how fast the trains get later in the game with proper diesel trains, these are painfully slow. So those further away ones be easily reachable when we have kind of faster diesel trains, and then later in the game you get even faster trains. But we could also potentially set up some air travel there or something like that. But right now, your goal is to keep making money, and then keep paying off those loans, because we'll make Mr. Money Mustache proud by paying off the loans, and then all of that money that we're bringing in is going to be ours, and we don't have to be paying that to the bank, which is fantastic. So that's, I think, going to be it for this episode. This gives you a good start to say this is how I'm going to set up my train lines with my passengers. Gives you an idea of kind of how to look at, we're gauging, hey, okay, if I've got a bunch of passengers still waiting here, maybe I'm going to drop a third train onto this. And we can see that our towns are now growing every 100 days, up from not growing at all. So that is pretty awesome. I think in our next episode we'll be diving into advanced junctions, because this is good for, again, our lowish traffic for our coal trains, and this is we're starting to run into some traffic issues here where these trains are kind of coming through here and are not being able to continue along because they're kind of getting slowed down by the other trains. And trains are big and heavy, and if they can keep their momentum, that is really ideal. And we'll probably dive into maybe putting some timetables on these trains, because we want to kind of have regular service, because again, that really helps with our ratings, the frequency of service. And the other one is you're never going to get these to be 100%, so don't worry about that. As long as you've got good ratings, you know that you're doing a pretty good job. But yeah, so next episode we'll dive into that, and we'll look at bringing in some of these other industries you see around here. I think the easiest one is going to be with forests, and we're essentially be making probably furniture or something. We'll be taking that to the sawmill, creating goods, and by delivering goods to the cities, that is going to be causing that rate of growth to go up quite a lot. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this. Like if you liked, and sub if you haven't already and you want to see more like this. And take care. We'll catch you in the next one.